Hi everyone, let's talk about Hadrian's Wall, which I just finished doing a solo playthrough for. You can see that linked in the description, and another one that I did live. If you would like to see the game actually in action, this is just what I think about it, if you're interested in knowing that. So I should say first up that from solo's perspective, I've only played it in that way, so I've not played it multiplayer. I know what happens in multiplayer, give you some rough thoughts based on that, but largely what I think is going to be based on the solo experience. I've gone on tons and tons of times, I think, about various roll and write and flip and fill games that I've loved. Welcome to, for example, or Gantt Clever, or all of these beautiful games where this mechanic is kind of recycled but produces, I think, vastly different results. And the kind of culmination of all of that, I think, so far, in terms of the kind of combo based flip and fill, roll and write kind of thing, is Hadrian's Wall. This takes the things that I love about, say, Gantt Clever, about filling in the boxes on your sheet, not really getting very far at the start, kind of, okay, I'm going to try and focus on this thing, and as you start to get into it, oh, well, crossing that out gets me this, and okay, so now I've done this, and oh, I wasn't even thinking about that, but now I've got the resources to go and do this. Well, resources is for Hadrian's Wall, but yeah, that what starts out with just these baby steps ends up you being crossing out tons and tons of spaces with just one big action. And yeah, Hadrian's Wall brings that beautiful feeling into a kind of a bigger, longer game. Although, yeah, some of those games, depending on the play count, can be a bit longer than you might expect for them. But yeah, Hadrian's Wall, an hour, it reckons, on the box. I reckon about that for a solo game of it. And you play pretty much simultaneously in the multiplayer as well, so probably the same. So just from these great big sheets here, so much different can happen. You're probably going to have to go along these tracks on the left a little bit every game. You've got to do something in here, although not necessarily all these tracks, not necessarily very far. Even though you are going down some of the same pathways, the results, especially on the right sheet, are going to be massively different. I know that just the way that I've set up this camera here, I'm blocking off the right sheet. So all of this, spoilers if you haven't seen the playthrough, but hopefully you've seen it. All of these buildings, it looks like a lot of roll and writes seem like, oh, there's a lot going on and a lot to explain in this. That's even more so in Hadrian's Wall, because there are a lot of different things going on here. But once you have kind of laid it all out, and especially once you've played a game of it, you see that, well, actually, even though there's all this that I can do, I can't really do that in one playthrough, so what am I going to, especially in the first games, okay, well, I like the look of the theatre. Let's do the theatre and see what that ends up getting me. And then you start to get a feel for, if you go for gladiators, okay, well, I should have done this next time. You can see in this particular playthrough, there are massive sections of buildings, these temples, the baths, the courthouse, the theatre here. I completely ignored, these citizen tracks, completely ignored just in the particular route that I went down here. And they work in nice different ways as well. You've got a bit of polyomino action in the scouting. You've got trying to find different individual numbers in the markets, which, in the multiplayer, it depends on the numbers that your neighbours have either side. In solo, that's replicated by having two of these extra cards either time to simulate your neighbours, but you've got a penalty in solo if you take these cards. And yeah, you're trying to find as many different numbers as possible, although you can still get rewards sometimes for filling just all of the numbers in there. Or you can take random cards from the fate deck if you want to just risk it. If the number, you've left it to the last minute and the number you need just hasn't come out yet, you can flip it over and try and get the number from there. Training the gladiators is probably the riskiest way of the riskiest building to go for, because you train your gladiator and then you can choose to battle them against the deck, and depending on what the number comes out, that's how much health they lose. If they die, you might get a reward, but if they survive the big battle, then you can get rewards along these tracks. So many things on the board reward you with progress at these tracks, which then gives you more meeples to spend, which then can eventually lead to you moving up other tracks, especially when you build the landmarks. There's just everything starts to combo like mad. Within, kind of the first couple of rounds are slower as you start to build up this stuff, as you start to maybe try and get some more production, because you will get stuff at the beginning of every round. Everyone will get the same as is on this fate card. But then once you add your production to that and the cards that you pick, it's a really nice choice. Even though you've got like 12 cards, everyone's got the same 12 cards. they come out in a different order, and you've just got that choice every turn between, oh, well, which scoring thing do I want? But then on the other card, this is the shape I've got the opportunity for, and I could get these rewards if this isn't the card that I pick for scoring. The card you pick for scoring is just for that. But everything else is on the prospect card that you put out. So you're getting some things, but you're also thinking about, in the multiplayer game, you would be thinking about the opportunities you're giving to everyone else. Is this the perfect shape for them to complete their scout thing? Is this the last number they need to complete their trade thing? That might be an incentive for you to put that out there, because if they use your number for the market, you get the resource. If they use your shape for the scouting, you get the soldier, which then you can put to good use. Again, there's mitigation in Solo 4. It's not free to just take those numbers that are just sitting there. There's just so much packed into this, and yeah, I've played it like 5 times now, which is not very many. There are 200 sheets here, right? I've still got like 195 to go, although I'm going to be hoping to try it multiplayer quite soon now that things are opening up a little bit. Yeah, I think that I'm so excited and so keen to just get back and keep trying this again and again and seeing how I can go down the different directions. Whether you're going for full-on defense, because at the end of the round you're going to pick up a load of these picked cards, and then there's difficulty levels, so you can draw more and more of them to make it harder on yourself, because you need to survive most of those cards to get any renown, because if you keep getting loads of disdain, that's really going to mount up. But I equally love the idea. I still haven't tried it yet. I was saying in the live playthrough, I still haven't done Gladiators and Market, and that's why that was the focus for the playthrough. But I haven't really gone down into the baths and the courthouse, or really gone into the temple part that much, and it's always going to be some kind of combination with other things, and that is nudged and influenced by the scoring cards you've taken, the things available to you this round, what came out on the fate card. Certain things might not be as viable, because I didn't get that many citizens this time, so I'm not going to be able to move along the tracks more. Maybe I'm going to get a load of builders and I can do the fort instead. Yeah, I'm just buzzing with praise for this game. I think it's absolutely fantastic. The production of it is fantastic as well. It is. I believe there is another game. There's Circadians, right? I haven't played that yet. But this is Sam Phillips doing the art for it. It's absolutely beautiful. I showed off in the playthrough all of the different art on the different backs of the player cards as well. I think it's gorgeous art. Nice, a load of wooden tokens for the meeples and the resources and stuff, and 200 each of these sheets. It's always going to be a thought, isn't it? Well, what about when they run out? You're going to have had a lot of games of it, even if you're playing it, up to 5? It's up to 6. Even if you play up to 6, I'm not going to do that maths right now. But you're going to get quite a few games out of this, aren't you? And if you're only playing it solo, that's 200 games. It's a little bit bigger than A4, so I don't know how I'm going to laminate it, if you have to cut it down a little bit or something like that to try and get, eke the last uses out of it. But maybe there'll be more pads available in that. I can see maybe that would be a little bit of an issue for you. I think that if you are a player that is looking for that kind of interaction in a game, it's not like maybe even something like Genshin Clever, where the active player has some more control over the dice and then everybody else gets to use what's left over. Even if that's your level of interaction, there isn't as much in Hadrian's Wall. It is, a lot of it is simultaneous. You are gonna have some decisions when you take the cards, who to help out, who's going to get your resources based, or do you just really need their particular shape or number? There is interaction in here, but it's going to be very light on that. So if you're after stealing other players' stuff and destroying stuff, there's none of that in there. But even kind of positive interaction, there's only that in there, and I can see that. I don't mind that at all. I wouldn't mind. As you can see, I've played it 5 times solo in the last I've only had it for a few days, but I would be completely fine, and I'm completely fine with loads of these games being multiplayer solitaire, so that's just down to you, isn't it? I'm going to stop thinking of reasons of why you might not like it. Watch the playthrough if you haven't already to see a million reasons why you might like it, because I absolutely love it, and I would absolutely love to see more of these kind of more substantial, heftier roll and write, stroke, flip and fill kind of games. And looking forward to more games from Bobby Hill as well, because this is a fantastic debut. Absolutely great. Hadrian's Wall. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye, everyone.